All right, hello everyone, and welcome to Rise Zion. My name is Seth. I hope you're all having a fantastic Sunday. But today I just wanted to do a really quick video for you guys. Nothing too long. I just found this really interesting story, and it really ties in together with the episode that we did recently about the church's new immigration policy. And this story is really faith promoting, and it was written by a Matthew Watkins. And this is on X, as you can see. I'm just going to read through this story for you. So he says, a powerful experience from about letting God prevail over our politics. I know individuals who have spent their entire lives defending the church and the kingdom of God on earth, only to watch their testimony slip away into quicksand quagmire because some, particularly political belief, was the most significant one, and it placed them at odds with the church. I've watched this happen with dozens of people I know who 5 years ago I would have laughed if you asked me if they would ever criticize the prophet or leave the church. I would have said, him? No, he is more likely to punch you in the face for saying something about the prophet than he is to leave the church over something like that. Yet, in those cases, very sadly, the prophet teaches something that isn't what they want to believe, and they shatter like glass, to quote Joseph Smith. One of my most powerful spiritual experiences was teaching a Utah history class. I had an ultra-conservative student, a guy so conservative he'd have harsh words for Ben Shapiro, calling him a communist for not being far enough right. His political philosophy was well known to everyone because he tried to turn every discussion into a conservative talking point. We were discussing modern Utah history, and Utah was about to pass a very strict immigration law. I explained that the church issued a statement opposing deporting families and breaking them up, emphasizing the importance of keeping families together and advocating for compromise. I expected an angry tirade from this student, especially since it involved the current prophet's stance. He started exactly as we'd expect. I have always believed the only right thing to do with illegal immigrants is to deport them. They broke our laws. I wish their families weren't broken up, but if I robbed a bank, I'd go to jail and be separated from my wife because I broke the law. I've always said mass deportations are the only way to deal with illegal immigration. Then he paused and said, but if the church's position on this is different, then I guess I'm wrong. I guess I've always been wrong. He apologized to the class and asked for their forgiveness. That was so powerful because everyone knew nothing mattered more to him than his political views. He talked about them constantly, even when they didn't apply. In that moment, he had to decide, was he an ultra-conservative who happened to be a Latter-day Saint using theology to support his arguments, or a Latter-day Saint who happened to be a conservative? Which came first? The whole class watched as he decided that. Although he didn't agree, he wouldn't declare the church wrong. Instead, he said, I've always thought this, but if the church said otherwise, I guess I've been wrong. That is true discipleship, putting everything on the altar. So I asked myself, and hopefully we all ask ourselves, am I really willing to sacrifice everything for the kingdom of God? It's easy when it aligns with what you already believe. The real difficulty comes when it doesn't. When it's something that matters deeply to you and the church's position is the opposite of yours. All right, and you have this little illustration here. Very interesting commentary on this event that happened. I think that my position on this matter is that it is possible for you to disagree with the church. But generally, I would agree with this message. I agree with the idea that we need to reassess our own views before we just declare that the church is wrong, right, on a particular issue. Now, on this particular case, the church did say that they were opposed to keeping families apart, right? And generally speaking, I think that most people would agree with that sentiment. I do think that there are exceptions, however. For example, if people come to the border and we're not sure if the parents, if the people claiming to be the parents of children are in fact children because they don't have documentation, I think that it's an inevitability that they be separated at the border until at least they can establish identity. And so I think that there are exceptions. I don't think that the church's statement should be taken as in it should apply in every case. I think that it's a general statement, and I think that most people would agree with that generality, right? Now, I think that this story was very important still in that it just demonstrates that there is this interesting political divide that has happened recently, even amongst conservative members of the church who I mean, the church has taken a pretty consistently middle ground on a lot of things, but there does seem to be a growing discontent amongst conservative members of the church. And sometimes I feel that that is fabricated by people who aren't even members of our faith, right? Who are coming in and we've discussed this on the episodes discussing the secret combinations that might exist amongst us. So yes, while I agree with this story, and I think that it's a very good story and well written, I don't agree necessarily that we can't disagree with the church in some things, as long as it's actually the position of the church. All right. So that's just a really short message that I'd like to share with you today. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, bye.